Hey there, welcome to Main Street Living. I'm Cheryl Nelson.
And I'm Quincy Carr.
And I'm Danielle Alvari.
How are you guys?
Back again. And this time in color coordination.
Yeah, look at that. I know I missed
Hold up, Cheryl. Cheryl, duck. I got to give her a high five. Duck. Let's see.
Which way is it? It's this way.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Color coordination.
You guys got it.
Yeah, look, I'm just happy I have power. It's a lot of wind and rain that's happening right now.
That's right. So, we almost didn't have Quincy today.
I know. I'm glad that you're here, Quincy, because
it's the virtual version.
Sad. It would have been the girls' show, though. I mean, Danielle and I, we could have carried it.
Yeah, the ladies would have held it down, but
yeah,
it wouldn't have been the same without you.
So get this, during the pandemic, I know a lot of people are staying home. Not a lot of people are traveling, but sometimes duty calls, and I had some business, and I actually had to fly from Newport News, Williamsburg in Virginia to Atlanta. And I actually shot some behind the scenes video to show you what flying during a pandemic is like. Take a look at this. So I'm in the security line right now at the airport, and it's really eerie. It's super quiet. Where I normally get food, closed. So I guess I'm not going to be getting any lunch. Hopefully you can hear me over this mask. But wow. Yeah, I mean, I know they said that airports were eerie and quiet, but being here and experiencing it is an all new thing.
At this time, we proceeded to rows 11 through 17. You all will board at B6, 11 through 17.
Current weather down in Atlanta. Light winds out of the southwest, good visibility, a few scattered clouds, temperature 72 degrees. Welcome aboard.
Well, I'm on the plane now, and thankfully I fly a lot, so I got upgraded to first class, and I'm the only one in here in first class anyway. And I think there might be about 7, maybe 8 people on this flight. So I'm in Atlanta now, and here some things are open, but most are closed, as you can see behind me. So still no lunch for me. I'm on the plane train, and there's only one other person in here, and usually this is jam-packed with people. So yeah, the airport is eerily quiet, even here in Atlanta, at the world's busiest airport.
Wow. Is that airport normally packed?
Oh, you talking about Atlanta?
It's the busiest airport in the world. Yes.
Yeah.
No, I meant the first one, the one you came.
Oh, Newport News, Williamsburg. I mean, there's normally a decent amount of people.
Right.
Flights were canceled. So I was one of the few that was actually going out that day on Delta. But again, with only 7, 8 people, on my flight, there was barely anybody. So I actually felt pretty safe. I wore the mask the whole time. Yeah. I wasn't near any people. I wore a mask in the airport as well. And I sanitized, I wiped all the seats down, and it was interesting.
That security line was ideal though, right? The security line? That's the ideal security situation.
I was about to say, I take it there's no point in having TSA pre-check. It's like, to feel like flashing that is like, sir, there's no one else.
The only
I want to keep my shoes on. I'm not taking my laptop out. I would like my
I
pre-check.
didn't have to do that. So that was good about having pre-check. But yeah, you just kind of walk right through, and it was eerie, but I'm glad that Delta and all the other airlines are doing such a good job. I mean, some people still have to travel and get place to place, but it was kind of cool to do that.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm glad you made it back safe.
Yes, thank you so much. And we've got a lot coming up here on Main Street Living today, guys. In fact, coming up, I'm going to interview somebody from Cox who's going to talk about bringing affordable internet to those in need, because internet is so important right now. Stay with us. Welcome back to Main Street Living. Staying connected online in today's society is crucial for a lot of people, but during the pandemic, many are struggling to stay online. Joining us now is Shayna Keith. She's the Public Relations Director for Cox. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So tell us about this unique program that you have to help people out.
Sure. So Connect to Compete is a program from Cox Communications, and we've had this program for many years now. In fact, the program began well over 20 years ago in California, informally, and then formalized in about 2012 with the program. And it really is designed for families, low-income families that have children at home. That is a low-income internet offer. It's $9.95 a month. So it's an affordable way for families that need internet access to get it, so that kids can be competitive at school and can do their homework, don't have to go to the local library or McDonald's to get on a Wi-Fi access. They can do that from the comfort of their home. So we've been proudly doing this for many years now, and continue to add new customers all the time, particularly lately.
That is so critical right now, especially when everybody's trying to homeschool, and being online is so important to get assignments done and in on time. And so how do you know if you qualify for this?
Sure. So Connect to Compete is to qualifying families that have a K through 12 student at home, number one. We also look to you qualify if you are in government assistance programs, and also if you are on the National School Lunch Program, often known as SNAP or TANF. Those are families that qualify for Connect to Compete.
Gotcha. And I know you've got a special offer as well. Can you talk about that?
Sure. Yeah. So since the coronavirus began, we actually have offered Connect to Compete for free to customers that qualify. And we did that because we knew that now that families are all home, and parents are teaching now, that these kids, all kids, they needed the opportunity to work or to learn from home. And so our mission with Connect to Compete has always been to narrow the digital divide. And that's more critical now more than ever. And so we're offering it for free, where it's usually $9.95 a month. It's free for families that sign up between March 13th and May 15th. And it will be free until July 15th. So we're getting them into the summer months, ensuring that they can finish out their school year strong.
That is such a good deal. I'm so glad that Cox is doing this. And talk to me a little bit about a Learn from Home toolkit for schools. It sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, sure. So we've been working very closely with the school systems within our markets to make sure that families are connected and can that we're equipping school administration with all of the tools that they would need to make sure that the families that go to that school know that this offer is available to them. So we've armed school administration with ways that they can communicate directly to families and getting in front of them so that they know that this offer is out there. We knew that we had to get the offer together and out there, but we got very, very targeted in terms of making sure that school administrators were reaching out to families actively. And in addition to that, we set up a process of like a fast track process, essentially, where we have continue to work with the schools to get families enrolled very, very quickly. So there is a qualification process, but we've stripped out some of those guidelines in terms of, some of the documentations needed. And we've stripped that out so we can get families connected even faster.
That's nice. And a lot of people have their pens and pencils out, I'm sure, to jot down where they can go for more information.
Absolutely. So cox.com/connect to compete is where you can find all the information about Connect to Compete, where you can qualify and sign up for the solution.
All right, Shayna, great info. Thank you so much for all you do, and thanks for being here with us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, lots more ahead on Main Street Living. The opioid problem is growing in this country. And coming up, we're going to share some resources about where people can still get help, even during a pandemic. Stay with us.
Welcome back to Main Street Living, ladies. We've had a great show so far, and this it's going to continue. Ain't that right? Well, ain't that right? That's horrible English, isn't that?
That's
Isn't
okay.
that right?
Of course it's going to continue. We
It's
have
hard.
lots more great stories to bring you.
It's hard to talk right now, right? It's hard for all of us to kind of preserve our mental health right now, our physical health. But it can be especially challenging for people that are dealing with opioid recovery, that type of thing. So joining us now, the CEO of Kodak Behavioral Healthcare, we have Linda Hurley. Linda, thank you so much for joining us on Main Street.
Well, thank you for having me.
So Linda, tell me, how can you ensure the health and safety of your community at Kodak?
Small question. Well, we're doing a number of things as our other community behavioral health care providers, because we're faced with two challenges. We know, number one, that isolation is very often the enemy of healing. So when people are suffering from substance use disorder, opioid use disorder, other behavioral health care problems, isolation is probably the last thing that any of us would need. So we know we need to address that in this era of, sheltering in place and self-quarantining. At the same time, we have to lower the risk of exposure for the folks that come to us for care and for our communities. So what Kodak has done, along with many others in the community, is that we're providing increased services and contact, but we're doing it via telehealth and telephonic services. So we're decreasing the amount of individuals that come into a space and share an environment, but at the same time, we're reaching out more and providing more voice-to-voice support, if you will.
That's what I was going to ask you is how are you guys able to evaluate and to treat patients virtually?
Well, we have the capability of telehealth, which is, basically using the system that we're using now or one similar, and with our physicians and our medical department. And then for case management services, check-ins, crisis, if someone just needs to speak to someone they know or someone they know cares, then the telephonic works beautifully. Which is just telephonic's just a big word for calling somebody up on the phone.
Sure. Which is, it's great that we have access to the technology, right? But it's like, it's not a replacement for the personal contact.
It is not a replacement for personal contact. However, when it comes for treatment and care and support for healing from these various diseases that we're talking about in behavioral health care, what a lot of the research has shown, what the literature states, is that the telephonic component of telemedicine is actually viewed as effective or more effective by those receiving the care. That does not mean that support in recovery and our support groups and our family support and the support of our friends can occur that way as effectively as well. It doesn't mean that.
Absolutely. I think we can all relate to that right now. We're all like, can't wait to get back and hug our family members.
True.
Speaking of families, what can family members do if they have somebody in their family that is struggling with opioid addiction or something of that nature? What can they do to support them at this time?
I think it's dependent upon the situation, but support is contact. So if someone lives with you that's struggling, then having the conversation, giving them space, allowing them to feel their discomfort and be with you is exactly what someone would need. They also need the support of others in the recovery community, whatever that might look like, whether it's 12-step or other forms of recovery support. There are actually on Kodak's website, there's a list of links where individuals can go for recovery support groups in the community, in the state and national ones. But we put that up a while back because it's very important. And you got to love Zoom, right? There are Zoom meetings all over the place now, and they're wonderful for individuals.
Of course. Well, thank you so much, Linda. I was just going to ask you where people can get more info. So make sure you check out Kodak's website, especially at a time like this. I know it's a cause that affects a lot of people. I think we all know somebody who's been affected by something like this. So we really appreciate all the work you guys are doing. And thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you, Linda.
Good interview there. Always great to get that sort of information out to the public.
Yeah, not something maybe people are thinking about at a time like this, but definitely something that a lot of people are struggling with at this time.
Definitely. Well, switching gears a little bit, coming up on Main Street Living, Quincy gets the inside scoop on Speedway Motorsports. I got to see that. Stick around.
Welcome back to Main Street Living. During COVID-19 across the nation, we are all racing to get back to work and of course, business as usual. However, NASCAR and its employees cannot wait for the rubber to meet the road once again. So I'm pleased to welcome to the show Kevin Camper, Chief Sales Officer of the Speedway Motorsports. How you doing today, Kevin?
I'm doing great, Quincy. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Hey, yeah, thanks for being on the show, man. Let's get right into it. How is NASCAR managing the pandemic just overall?
Well, it's I don't think there's any textbook or we had any continuing or greater education on it. I think we're taking it one day at a time. Our company has 8 speedways, Speedway Motorsports across the country. So we are we're all uniquely different. My offices actually are in Las Vegas. So Las Vegas is in a much different place than, say, our track in Bristol, Tennessee. But we're doing things to really try to lean in and be good neighbors. We set up our facilities as blood drive locations for the Red Cross. We've actually got a testing facility at Charlotte Motor Speedway that you can actually through our local hospital partner get tested for COVID-19 in a drive-up fashion, that we've just donated our facilities to allow the space for people to utilize. Since we don't have events going on right now, we've got lots of acreage at our speedways, and we want to lean in and really be good citizens, and we want to make sure we keep everybody healthy and safe as we move forward. So,
absolutely. And you mentioned about the 8 speedways across the nation. I know Vegas is one of them. What are some of the other ones around the nation?
So our home office is Charlotte Motor Speedway. We actually own and operate Atlanta Motor Speedway, Bristol Motor Speedway, New Hampshire Motor Speedway just outside of Boston, Kentucky Speedway outside of Cincinnati, Dallas Fort Worth. We have the Texas Motor Speedway there, and then we have Sonoma Raceway out in the northern California wine country area.
That's interesting. And I'm smiling because, I'm not that familiar with NASCAR, but a few months ago, my daughter and I, we were just buying some video games, and we came across this one, NASCAR 2014. Okay. So knowing not much about NASCAR, I just love to, play racing games, right? So we were playing and we came across a few of those tracks, the Bristol track. And I live here in Virginia where there's a lot, I think it's the Richmond Motor Speedway that's here as well. And we were just it is tough. It is not an easy thing to do. So kudos to these drivers. I'm just thinking it's just about driving. No, it's more than that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. When you get 30 or 40 drivers out there at one time, and they're having to look at their gauges, they're having to look in their mirror because they've got cars side to side or in front of them. It's definitely very, very challenging. And they're the premier athletes of no different than any other sport. They're the best of the best, and it's definite. And they actually have a crew chief talking in their ear as well while they're out there driving. So it makes it super challenging. But I'm glad you got a chance to play the video game. That's one of the things that we've seen in the last month. Give a little diversion, not having live sports. So it's been neat to see the iRacing platform with eNASCAR come online in the last month. There's also a really neat video game called NASCAR Heat that's out. It's a great, that's a little easier for us to play than the iRacing piece, but both great platforms and very entertaining. My 17-year-old at home enjoys the NASCAR Heat game a lot. So that's fun stuff.
Yeah. And it's real interesting as well as virtual. The virtual world, because as we've seen in pro sports, the NFL successfully had the draft day done virtually. And I know that NASCAR is doing a couple of things like transition into the virtual world for the time being. So I think that that's pretty cool that you guys are are able to transition. I see that you have football helmets back there in the football. Like, who's your team, man?
Oh, I'm a Redskins fan. I grew up in Southwestern Virginia, and unfortunately, I've not had a lot to cheer for in the past several years. And then I married a Texas girl, and my kids were born in Texas, so they're Cowboy fans. And now I got a new team living here in Las Vegas. We've got the Raiders coming online this fall.
That's right.
I'm excited to see that happen. It'll be great to have live NFL football here in the city of Las Vegas and in our state.
You know, for more information, your information has been displayed across the screen, but we certainly do appreciate you guys. And thank you so much, Kevin. Okay.
Yeah. Please stay safe. Thank you.
You do the same, man. And when we come back, more on Main Street Living. Stay with us.
Welcome back to Main Street Living, guys. We're having so much fun today.
We are.
Absolutely. The laughs are ridiculous. You know what? But I'm getting a little hungry. See, during COVID-19, staying healthy with good food choices is very important. And of course, this next package of deliciousness, ladies, is sure to spike your taste buds. Take a look at this.
Hey everyone, hope you're all well and healthy. I'm bringing you here another wholesome, easy, and delicious recipe from my kitchen to yours. This is called carrot fries, and on the side, there's a Greek yogurt chive dip. Yum, yum. As we all know, right now, produce has always and continues to be in abundance in the store, so we definitely want to integrate our veggies wherever we can, just to get, those nutrients in, added throughout our meals, throughout the day and the week. So, without further ado, let's get into this recipe. All right, so I already have my 2 carrots that are cut into fries. So I have that here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our carrots and we're gonna put them in the bowl. One thing that I love is recipes that you just have to dump things into a bowl. It makes it super cinch, super quick and easy. So what we have here, ingredients-wise, is 2 tablespoons of olive oil. So you pour that right into your bowl. Tablespoon, AKA heap of love. We also have a tablespoon of fresh parsley that's chopped. I'm gonna add that right in. Now we have some paprika here, 1 teaspoon of that. Teaspoon, AKA a spoonful of laughter. All right, and then we have our teaspoon of salt and pepper. So once you have that all in your bowl, you're gonna go ahead and just toss that all together. Get all the ingredients nice and coated on your carrot fries. Now, while this was happening, I already had preheated my oven to 425. So then once your carrot fries are kind of nice and coated there, evenly distributed, what we're going to do is we're going to place the carrots on a baking sheet lined with parchment paper in a single layer. Ta-da! And these are ready to go in the oven. What we're gonna do now is get into this delicious Greek yogurt chive dip. Yum. That just sounds wonderful. So let's get into that. So all you're gonna need here is 1 cup plain Greek yogurt, 1 tablespoon lemon juice. I squeeze a fresh lemon. I kind of like using fresh lemon for that option. And then 2 tablespoons chives. And followed by a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper, about 1/4 teaspoon each. And voila, you have your Greek yogurt chive dip, and this is gonna be, of course, your dipping sauce for your carrot fries. Absolutely a blend of delicious flavors. And let's go ahead and check on our fries. And ta-da! A simple, quick, and easy, nutritious and delicious carrot fries recipe. Absolutely so good. From my family to yours, stay well, stay healthy, and I'll see you next time.
Ooh, yum. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Amazing.
I think it's pretty.
As always.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a carrot lover, but I am losing my eyesight, so I may want to become a carrot lover at some point.
Well, at least you know it's got lots of vitamin A, right? So that'll help your eyes. So that's something
Absolutely.
that's good. I think it's great. I mean, Danielle, I know you eat a lot of vegan treats like me, right? So you'd probably like
as well, yeah. Yeah, and I mentioned to you guys that I just had kale chips the other day, so I'm excited to try these. Kind of the similar process to make them, so definitely something I can throw in my routine. That stuff I already have.
Yes, Danielle, I need to visit you. I want to try some of these kale chips.
Yes.
Hold up,
And
did
as
y'all
we know,
see
the security lines are short, so never a better time, right?
Right? I mean,
Well, not really supposed to.
I don't want to go too out of control and start flying all over the place. But
We
Hold
appreciate
up,
that.
did y'all see the hand? Did y'all see the hand in the video? It's like, ooh, I want some. Like you see his little hand. Like I don't know if they noticed, but this guy was like, can I have some?
This was better than you eating the cat treats like on the last show, right?
Oh my God.
Yes,
A little
yes,
bit of
you
an
tricked
upgrade.
me.
I did. I
tricked me
virtually fed him the cat treats.
Yes.
Great. You played along with it. I mean, that's what I do with my sister and my cousins. I tell them what to do and they do it. It's great.
Really? So we're family?
That's what I'm saying. I look at you like family now. That's actually a huge compliment.
No, not if you're feeding people cat food, Cheryl.
All right,
You know,
enough, you guys. Enough of the cat talk. The cat talk. Let's talk about a dog coming up. We're going to be talking to a production designer from Warner Animation Studios who worked on the film SCOOB, which is coming out really soon. So stick around. Welcome back to Main Street Living. Joining us right now is a rather, I hope, animated guest coming from Warner Animation Studios. We have production designer Michael Kurinsky. Michael, welcome to the show.
Hey, good to have you. Good to be here. Thanks.
Oh, yeah, I know. It's hard to communicate now at this point. I haven't seen any people. I've been stuck inside. How are you doing in this quarantine right now, Michael?
Doing really well. My family and I are doing great. I've grown my mandatory quarantine beard.
Of course.
You know, I've watched Tiger King like everybody else.
Of course.
I haven't baked any bread, which seemed to be like a big thing on Facebook that people were doing. So
there's no pans left.
Yeah, I need to get to that. But after I do that, I can check off all my quarantine check boxes. But no, otherwise, we're doing really great. So
That's
thanks.
great. So I know I mentioned production designer. You work in the animation kind of area of the entertainment industry, but very familiar with the rest of it. What can you kind of tell us about what's going on currently?
Well, yeah, I mean, the entertainment industry is taking a pretty hard hit. You know, a lot of the live action stuff you can imagine with quarantine and not having, groups of, more than a few people together. You can't have a soundstage filming a sitcom with a bunch of people in there. So those things have gotten shut down, or productions on a film where there's hundreds of people around, shooting. You can't have those kind of situations anymore. So a lot of the live action stuff has shut down for the moment. And it's really sad because that puts, you think not just the people in front of the camera, the actors, but the people behind the camera shooting it and all the people, all the grips and people who build sets and everything, that's putting them in an awkward place right now. So that part of the industry, unfortunately, sadly shut down. But the one sort of avenue that has maintained its ability to stay afloat is animation. Everyone, their IT people, their IT teams have stepped up, brought equipment to their houses, and animators are working from home. Lighting people are working from home. Obviously, writers can work from home, and even voice actors are doing it from their house. I even finaled all the last shots on the movie I was currently, that we just wrapped up, SCOOB, which will be coming out soon. I finished that in my living room in my sweatpants, which was very unusual for me.
So you mentioned the film SCOOB, which is the first all CGI or CG version of Scooby-Doo, right?
Yes, it's really exciting. Yeah.
So you mentioned it's still coming out in May. So how have you guys been able to produce that and still get it out in time?
Yeah, so it is. It's coming out May 15th on video on demand. So pretty much all the platforms that you can buy or rent movies from should have it for you. And like I said, we were weeks away from being finished for the theatrical release as it was planned. And then all of this happened. And So like I said, I had monitors brought to my house. We worked with different kinds of softwares, and I had shots sent to me, and I was looking at them on those monitors and filing them and getting it ready. I only had to actually go in to Warner Brothers and sit and look at final color in a theater 2 times, and it was just one other person in that room, so it was very safe.
Right.
And it was a ghost town on this lot that's usually bustling, which was really weird. There was nobody there. But the point is that we were so close to being finished that we found a way, just like everybody else in the animation industry has been doing. We found a way to finish this, get our content ready, and the movie is done and ready for people to watch.
And I have to ask, I know one of our producers is dying for me to ask, do you ever put any Easter eggs in? Do you ever put any Easter eggs in when you're doing the animation?
Oh my gosh, this movie is full of them.
Because we all missed Easter. We all missed Easter. So tell me you have some.
Yeah. Oh my God. So you can go Easter egg hunting big time. If you know even this much about Hanna-Barbera and the world of Scooby-Doo, you will find something in this movie. So you will find many, some are very inside and some are very obvious. So yeah, a lot of Easter eggs.
That's amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much, Michael, for giving us something to look forward to and also giving us some tips on where we can find those Easter eggs. Again, remind us that it's coming out May 15th, right? Video on demand. So if you guys want to watch Scoob, which I think we all do at this point, right? We're all looking for those Easter eggs, and make sure you guys get that video on demand. Mike, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it.
Thank you. It's a lot of fun.
All right, guys, stay around. Next up, if you are doing any kind of homeschooling, we have a look at an online nature lab, so don't move.
Welcome back to Main Street Living. I don't know about you guys, but I think this pandemic has made me at least appreciate nature so much more.
Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely, Cheryl. And, you know, being guided by science, I don't know if a lot of people know, but more than 850 million children and youth, roughly half of the world's student population, have to stay at home from schools and universities due to COVID-19. But although they can't travel the world, they can still develop a great passion for knowledge about the world through high quality classroom content. And here to talk a little bit more about that is Heather Beshears. She's Director of Strategic Communications and Marketing at the Nature Conservancy. How you doing today there, Heather?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Great. Now, for starters, what is the Nature Conservancy for our viewers?
So the Nature Conservancy is a global environmental nonprofit organization. We operate in 50 states and across the world.
And across the world. Now, and you also have a new endeavor called the Nature Lab. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Sure, happy to. We're really excited about it. It's an online free resource for kids mainly aged kindergarten to 12th grade, but it provides digital content, virtual field trips, and really building on the building blocks of nature. So air, water, food, but providing both a digital experience as well as some tools that you can use in your own backyard.
And that's interesting because I know kids, I have a daughter and she gets real excited about new things, even more so now than ever before, because how much can you look at the same, right? So like, how can parents also get involved with the Nature Lab as well?
Sure. So the online platform is geared towards different age groups. So depending on the age of your child, you can find the appropriate materials. There are worksheets, activities, again, tools that they can use that they not only learn online, but can perhaps maybe explore in their own backyard.
Got you. Now, teachers, I know that, you know, like parents have become homeschool teachers now, but teachers who are in a transition themselves, like, can they also use this as a tool to help their students?
Absolutely. There's a curriculum for teachers as well. So to your point, right now, a lot of them are at home. So it's the virtual experience, but there's certainly, when we can go back to a little bit of more normal in-person experiences as well. But the age-appropriate curriculum is there. Again, worksheets, activities that are very easy to apply. And the curriculum is really designed by both TNC scientists and educators, so it's really easy to use.
Interesting. Another question for you. Now, why does virtual conservation education matter, okay, versus just the regular way to do it?
Sure. Well, especially in this environment, we're all looking for some resource to get engaged with nature. But a lot of kids on an ongoing basis don't necessarily have access to this type of curriculum. So it's an easy platform that we can use going forward as well, and provides access to a lot of students. Whether you are in where I am, Arizona, and learning about the desert, but you can also learn about coral reefs, rainforests, some of the places that you might not be able to go visit.
That's interesting. I was on a cruise not too long ago, and I came in contact with some coral. It was called fire coral, and when I tell you, it burned a section of my stomach. But that was my first time in contact. I thought all coral was supposed to leave cuts and scrapes, but I have to go back and do research myself just to find out how to treat it. But just to come in contact with something like that I never, had done before was very interesting. So I can see how something like this could be very educational for students and adults like myself. And lastly, before we go, where can people contact you guys if they want more information?
Absolutely. So nature.org/naturelab is the main site. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter at TNC Nature Lab.
Awesome. Well, we certainly do appreciate all the information and this opportunity for us to continue to, be a part of nature and conserve things virtually as well. We thank you for your time, and thanks for being a part of the show.
Thank you so much.
All right, Heather. All right. Well, ladies, that was pretty interesting for me because now I know I can get a little bit more education about this stuff than I could before.
That is good. Yeah. And Quincy, I love watching you do interviews. You have the best smile. I bet people tell you that all the time.
No, I've never heard that. Thank you. Oh, I think Danielle's mic is muted.
Oh, yeah. So we have more fun coming up here on Main Street Living. Stay with us. Be right back.
Absolutely.
Welcome back to Main Street Living. This show is always the highlight of my week.
Absolutely. She's not muted anymore. We lost you for a second there, Danielle.
I think everyone can relate. Someone's been on a Zoom call, right, and they've been on mute. We've all been there. So I was just trying to be relatable.
You nailed it.
Well, it worked. It worked out. And
once again,
you're right. We're all doing the Zoom calls now, and we've had people that are, dressed on top, but not so much on the bottom. And
the Good Morning America person, the poor guy.
Yeah.
I'm wearing sweatpants. I can relate.
On the bottom?
Shorts. He was getting ready for his workout. If you guys didn't see it, check it out. But leave the poor man alone. He's already apologized profusely.
Well, he shouldn't have to apologize, right? We're just being human. That's what I think. It's relatable.
Absolutely. Yeah. And remember what happens on the internet. I can't even not stutter. What happens on the internet stays on the internet for a while. So that's going to be out there for a while.
Yes, and remember, guys, today with our interview with Michael Kurinsky from Warner Animation, we have a longer interview as well. So make sure you guys check that out. We could only show you a little bit of it. You definitely want to see the whole thing. So make sure you check it out on yourview.com.
Ooh, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, and I can't wait.
Today.
I can't wait to get back to this. That interview was great, and I'm going to play some. I'm going to figure out how to drive on a day. It is tougher. It's a lot tougher than you think it is for these NASCAR drivers, and I'm just on a control. So, but I'm challenged to do it, and I'm going to do it.
I'm still having trouble parallel parking, so we'll just work our way up to that.
You're not a good driver. Is that what you said, Danielle?
I just think it's safer when I'm not on the road. I think a lot of people would agree with me. It's not that it's not that I'm speeding. I don't know that I have the attention span for it. I'm millennial. So
well, they don't teach y'all to parallel park at DMV anymore anyway. Not these days. No, because everybody has a backup camera, Cheryl.
I don't have a backup camera.
I don't. I need one. I don't.
Yeah,
Everybody
Danielle, you
needs
should have one. That should be mandatory for you.
I seen one on the motorcycle, so you have a chance. So.
It's really a matter of public safety at this point. So,
Do you drive an older car, Danielle?
I drove a Mustang.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, on that note, you and your Mustang, you don't even want to know what I drive. So we're going to leave you guys right there. So much fun today. Thanks again for joining us here on Main Street Living. And we are here Mondays, 9 p.m. local time. So be sure to check us out and take a walk down Main Street with us next time. Bye-bye.
All right.